Hello, everyone. If you're watching this video, then you are a seeker on a spiritual path. And if you are a seeker on a spiritual path, you will no doubt have heard the words spiritual awakening or spiritual enlightenment, and maybe wondered what the difference was, if there is any difference. Well, today I would like to try and explain my point of view on this subject, trying to understand it. It's for those that are just beginning their path. There's always confusion and there's always questions. So if I can help, that's great. So that's what my goal is today, to try and clarify, explain in my way what the meanings of these words are. To begin with, spiritual awakening, I looked that up. It's a verb because it's a process, and enlightenment was said to be a noun. Now, not every soul that is incarnated here on the earth at this time has chosen to experience spiritual awakening. And that's okay. It doesn't mean that those on the path are any better or any worse. It means that people are just different. So spiritual awakening is a process. And when the time is right, when the higher self decides the time is right, the higher self will then begin the process in a variety of ways. Some of those ways are, you might hear a voice and you turn around and there's nobody there. Or you might smell of tobacco, and maybe your grandfather who was passed smoked a pipe and it's pipe tobacco. And there's nobody there, but you smell it. And then you wonder what's going on. You might have a dream you don't understand. You might experience strange things that cause you to question what is happening. Well, what is happening is your higher self has decided that it's time for you to wake up. So you could think about it like it's you're asleep. You've been asleep, and now the process is to awaken slowly. It's a process. It can take a few years. It can take a few months. But along that road, there are many changes and many bumps and lumps. And when you begin, you things that you once considered normal just don't make any sense anymore. The world you were comfortable with and interacted with every day now just seems meaningless. Doesn't make sense. It just, you might want to change your friends. Relationships change, jobs change. Your appetite could change. Your diet, foods you once loved, you just don't want to eat anymore. You might have a weight gain, a weight loss. You might need more sleep or less sleep. All of these changes can cause confusion, and then it's important to stay grounded. It's important to stay grounded. Some of the ways that you are able to do that is through meditation, through a walk in nature. I know when I'm feeling antsy or I'm feeling unsettled, I like to go for a walk and experience nature, because in that way I get some peace. I get some solitude. I can enjoy the outdoors. Expressing gratitude is also a very good way to settle yourself down, because then you realize what all these wonderful things you have to be grateful for. It's understanding, this awakening process is understanding that there's more to us. There's more to our world than we could ever imagine. And when you start to think those thoughts, that means you're considering your outer world and not just staying within the boundaries of your five senses. That is a lot of people's normal. You begin to understand that paranormal and the metaphysical actually exist. Now, each time when you're walking along that path and you have clarity, or you have what we call an aha moment, oh my gosh, I didn't know that. And then you accept that moment. When that happens, you take a step forward in evolution. And every time you take a step forward, you raise your consciousness up a little bit. And the process is you can compare it to opening a door and exploring a room. And when that's explored, then you can move on to the next one. And each time you joyfully open that next door to find out what is next. What does your high self have to give you next? What's the next step? What jewels and gems am I going to find in that next room? Every time that happens, you explore, you understand, you learn, and you raise your consciousness. And the process of awakening is, the goal is to reach enlightenment. And when you continue to raise your consciousness, at the end of that, enlightenment is there. Now, the process can be a very bumpy road. Mine was, and lots of times it still is. But it's important to accept the changes, accept the path, accept your own path, because you chose it, nobody else. So accept the changes, accept the path, and when you think you might stumble or might have stumbled, that's the time when you need to be kind to yourself. If you had a friend walking beside you that stumbled, you would be kind to that friend. Well, consider yourself your best friend and be kind to yourself. My high self told me, gave me some encouraging words some time ago. She's given me lots of encouraging words, but these, and I do believe I mentioned these words in a past video. But for anyone that's watching for the first time, I will repeat it. She said to me, and this is very, very relevant to the process of awakening. She said, accept your challenges, forgive your stumbles, and celebrate your victories. So that's my take on the awakening process. Now, at the end of it all, you have the chance, the opportunity to reach enlightenment. If you continue doing the work, if you continue the process, and you have the free will to quit any time, but I couldn't. I always wanted to know what was beyond the next door. And at the end of all the doorways, you reach what is known as enlightenment. Enlightenment means, if you look at the word, light is right in there. So it's about the light. It's about being the light. It's about emitting the light. It's about understanding that you are a lighted being. You are a light of God. You are a part of God. It is attaining the wisdom and the knowledge of a Buddha. And it's amazing because along the way, magic happens. You begin to merge with your higher self. You begin to become that person. And when you have merged with your higher self and you've understood the truth of who you are, where you came from, and why you're here, you have reached your goal. I think of enlightenment as a state of being one with God, one with our Creator, and one with everything, everyone. It's unity consciousness. It's understanding that we are a child of God, that we are a spark. So, my friends and fellow soulmates, happy travels. Stay grounded, accept your own path, accept and celebrate your victories. So that's all I have for you today. Bye-bye.